period would be 30 minutes in length, and somehow or another it comes almost exactly 30 minutes. So far, to summarize our notes, just for the three of us, so we don't have any confusion, I have the first speaker at 3 minutes, 3 seconds. I have the second speaker exactly at 3 minutes. I have the third speaker at 3 minutes and 3 seconds. I have the fourth speaker at 2 minutes, 45 seconds with a voluntary leaving the podium. I have the fifth speaker at 45 seconds with a voluntary leaving of the podium. I have the next speaker at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. I have the next speaker at 4 minutes total. That was the gentleman with the Russian Revolution, Mr. Lawrence Markarian. And then last speaker on the Marsden Road lady, 3 minutes, 55 seconds, and then she was stopped by Mrs. Kidd, as was the entire section of first public comment. We're now at 30 minutes, 21 seconds in, and in theory, the first public comment period has come to a close. Have I misstated anyone's timing, or am I accurate?
I don't have any.
You're good to go? Have I misstated anybody's timing?
No.
Am I accurate? Good job. All right. On we go.
Our is at 6:30. 6:30. We have a second public.
Do any of the three of us know who is speaking to at this time, that gentleman's voice?
Stan Batum.
I don't.
Thank you. We have a gentleman's voice that three of us cannot identify, asking to continue some sort of speaking.
The comment period at the end of our meeting. Our first public comment period went until 6:30. Now it's time to start our business meeting. So,
Mr. Moore, I'd like to return his opinion on
All right, let's just stop here for a second, the three of us, and make sure we clarify exactly what we're seeing and what we're notating. Mrs. Kidd has decided to stop the first public comment period at the 30-minute, 21 seconds. She says it's 6:30. We know the meeting did start basically at 6 o'clock, so it is 6:30. We had a gentleman speak a moment ago that we were unable to identify. We have a gentleman here, and this is one of the council members, and he is going to speak beginning at the 30-50 mark. And it certainly appears as if he's in opposition to stopping the public comment period. And here we go. "31 minutes in, Mrs. Kidd gavels the speaker, council member Wetham, I believe, to be out of order.
I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever, Danetta, please, if I have to rewind this 20 times, I will, okay? Don't let me go ahead unnecessarily. Okay, Grant, you ready to go back? We'll go back as a few minutes and see what we want to do. Give it a shot. How's this look? If you want more, let me know.
Everyone something because a few people are not always able to do the things that they should. If we all have to do that all our life, I'm not sure any of us would be happy with our lives. Chairman. It's a puzzlement why you hire this kind of staff and then not listen to them. And more and don't count on a short-term.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor for our public, and now your time is up. Your public comment and over. Our is at 6:30. 6:30. We have a second public comment period at the end of our meeting. Our first public comment period went until 6:30. Now it's time to start our business meeting. So,
Mr. Moore, I'd like to return his opinion on
I missed that the first time. The council member on the left is imploring Mr. Bloor, city attorney, to intercede here at the 30:52 mark. I missed that the first time through. Okay, so far?
Yes.
Ready to proceed? You okay?
I-
Here we go.
needs to be respectful.
Yeah. 31:10, a recess is called. Okay, do you want to say it again?
No.
You good to go?
Mhm.
Are you okay? Okay. And we're off. Okay, the meeting seems to start again at the 33:48 mark. The recess was 2 minutes and 35 seconds. At which time, Mrs. Kitt simply just announced that there's a second comment period at the end of the business meeting. And here we go.
In the end of the meeting, so, we have to limit time to get our business done. Our last meeting, of course, we were here to midnight, which is entirely unfair to staff. So, we have to get on with the agenda, but there will be a second public comment period, and we look forward to your comments at that time. So now, are there any late items to place on this or future agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I had actually pointed one, I had asked the real mayor for his opinion about shutting down public comment period. I think if I understand, I think the meeting was limited.
3425, council member requests the real mayor to give his opinion about shutting off the public comment period. There we go.
The period will be limited to let you deal with all of the agenda. I had a chance to speak.
Absolutely, we haven't always, so it's time to.
In my 2 years, yes, we have. So for the record, Mr. Downey, is that your opinion?
What I understand is that there was adequate, there was limited, there's only first, only comment periods were going to last until 6:30. I think I understood that to be the case, and I believe that's what happened. And I understand further that there is a second, as it's been on the agenda, a second public comment period.
And as the mayor of the city of Port Angeles, you approve of this, is my question to you, sir.
I believe this is the way we need to do it, typically.
Okay, thank you, all right,
Okay, let's stop right there. At the 3620 mark, the council member asked Mayor Downey via speakerphone, do you approve of stopping the first public comment period at 6:30? He says, I think this is the way we have to do this. He then says, I know we have a second comment period. Immediately, Mrs. Kidd says, fine, that's it. We're moving on at the 3621 mark. The meeting restarts. Okay, so far? Good. Danetta, you're good to go? All right, now, I do know that there is a lengthy business part coming up, which I think is irrelevant to all in attendance, but I want to start that, and if the three of us agree that this has nothing to do with us, we will move the cursor ahead and come to our conclusion.
Anyone have to place on the future agenda? Hear them? Okay, we'll move on to consent agenda. Are there any items of particular discussion?
You're good to go ahead?
I think we should skip this.
Okay. Okay. All right. Miss Jennifer, are you with us back there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna move it ahead a fair amount of time, unless you can give me a spot where I should stop, where I'm just gonna grab bag it.
If you want to move ahead, I can give you a little guidance based on the time.
I need more than a little guidance, Miss Jennifer.
Okay, go ahead and move quite far down. I wanna
Right far
say-
down, I guess 45 minutes. There's an hour. There's an hour 20, hour 15, hour 20, hour 25, hour 30, hour 45,
Let's go ahead and stop there.
hour and 50. We're up.
Statement about that, RFP that they recently issued, future.
I'm sorry?
You can keep going.
I can go more? All right. All right, thank you. Where are we? Here we go. Hang in there, folks. Minute, hour 50, we'll go another 5-8 minutes, or something like that. Hour 58.
Standards and we have CDAs in the last few months because we had a lot of extra data.
I gotta go back, hold on.
Mr. Prince, I think you might want to go back.
Hang on, yes. I'm sorry?
I think this is the portion where Deputy Mayor Kidd speaks to the second public comment period. So
Oh, okay.
Want to go back? to-
So I just missed it, didn't I?
Yes,
I don't feel too badly then.
you did well.
You're the first person to say that.
Standards and we have CDAs.
John was close.
Period. In our meeting, so there are some people signed up who haven't had a chance to speak, and I'll call out the names. I just want to explain that normally in the past, after when we start our meeting, we have ceremonials, and then we can only have about 15 minutes of the comment period as the normal standards, and we have CDAs in the last few months because we had a lot of extra data. But so we We normally stop by 6:30, but that's the time for public hearing tends to start business. So we kind of got back to normal tonight, but since we have a second public comment period, Robert Flood and Ron Richards.
There we go. 1 hour and 58 minutes. Mrs. Kidd announces the second comment period is opening, and she announces 2 speakers, a Mr. Flood and a Mr. Richards. There is Mr. Flood. He identifies himself as a non-city resident living at View Vista Park. We will label him as Speaker 9. And we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and we'll go at 1:58:05 just to give the gentleman full time. You okay?
Good.
Danetta? Good job? And we're off.
Come to the microphone, please.
Robert Flood, dear Mr. Clark. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. These are the times that try men's souls. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet, we have this consolation with us. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Thomas Paine could not have been more right if he said these words today. Your senior staff took the time to develop a diverse set of alternatives to your December 4-right decision. One, a seeming win-win. Those that want it, get it. Those that don't, won't. But instead of accepting the suggestion, you chose to ignore compromise. There was a comment about Port Angeles being a backwater city without fluoride. And that name is Bell Hill, Appalachia. Is more talented maker. You, the fluoride poor, have made an error in judgment. In the same normalcy of obedience that preceded the Challenger disaster, you refuse to acknowledge it. You have developed your own definition of this situation that seemingly allows you to carry on as if nothing was wrong. You aren't acting as if you did nothing wrong. You actually believe it. Like the elected officials in Flint, Michigan, you seem to know what is right for the people, regardless of what they tell you. Instead of working towards compromise, the 4-eyed four says, as long as we count the votes, what are you going to do about it? Echoing the corrupt New York political machine of Tanner Hall. To paraphrase Honest Abe, I believe that this council cannot endure permanently half for fluoride, half against. I do not expect this council to be dissolved, nor do I expect it to fall. I do, however, expect to cease being divided. We, the people, will be here meeting after meeting to remind you that no means no. My observation of behavior of the past few meetings reminds me of the 4 horsemen outlined against the pristine beauty of the snow-capped Olympics. The 4 horsemen ride again with ignorance and stubborn demeanor. In dramatic lore, they were known as famine, pestilence, death, and destruction. But they are merely aliases. College.
Stop it there. The gentleman began at 1:58:05. The gavel sounded out of order at 2:01:00. That's virtually 2 minutes in. It would take a few seconds. 1:58:05, 02:01:00, and we go. $2:01:10, the gentleman responds responds to the out of order comment with his own out of order comment and leaves the podium. Speaker 9, Mr. Flood, View Vista Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's personally most inappropriate.
Hold on. 020120, a verbal warning is given to the audience by Mrs. Kidd. And I know this speaker, this is Mr. Richards. He has stepped to the podium. He was announced to be the second speaker in the second section. He is on the list, Mr. Ron Richards. 124 something, labels himself as a non-city resident. He will be listed on our chart as speaker number 10. You okay?
Good.
Good. Danetta? And we're off. Stop right there. The three of us catch our breath. Oh 020125. Meeting is adjourned. Mrs. Kidd adjourns the meeting. Mr. Richards has not spoken. Now, for clarification standpoint, assuming the list I have in front of us is accurate, and I suspect it is, we had 9 speakers. We have speakers Ron Richards, Eloise Kalin, it looks like, Marilyn Smith, Marilyn Harbaugh, and Dan Bertelson, right. So we have 1, 2, 3. You're right. I don't know why I'm on the back. Okay, let's just, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have 7 speakers still to go, but the meeting has adjourned after one speaker has spoken in the second comment period. Am I accurate?
I haven't counted.
No, one is spoken. Only one so far, right?
Right.
And the meeting has been adjourned. All right, let's just review. We don't want any inaccuracies. I will go as slowly as needed. We will not make any mistakes. We will do this correctly and competently. Mr. Richards, 1. Kalin, 2. Smith, 3. Harbaugh, 4. Battleson, 5. Jacobson, 6. Charles, 7. Am I accurate?
Well, if this sheet is accurate, then these people.
We're going to decide that right now. Miss Jennifer, this sheet is accurate?
Yes, these were the speakers that signed in on February 2nd meeting. It's on 2 separate pages because they signed in at different times.
You good with that? You okay?
I understand this.
You okay with that, Ted? Okay. So as far as we can tell, as far as we've seen so far, there are 7 speakers to go, but the meeting has adjourned. Although I do know there's a little more to view. But I don't want anyone to feel that we've misstated the case, have missed anybody, shortchanged anyone, or inaccurate in our viewing. And so far, I think we've been 100% accurate. And we're off.
We got a lady here, who was a well-respected county commissioner, who was popular and very well received, and she was very good for shut off. That's uncalled for. 3 minutes. Yeah.
Everything about 3 minutes. Well, 3 minutes.
Anyway, this 3-minute thing is just an insult. As I told Mr. Collins,
All right, now the three of us have a decision to make. I do know that Deputy Mayor Kidd does not appear on the video again. But the video continues for another 30 to 45 minutes with the speakers. Most, I understand, I have not seen it from this point on. But I understand that the rest of the speakers come up to the podium and speak. But Mrs. Kidd, Deputy Mayor Kidd, does not appear again. My question to the three of us is, from here on, is it relevant to us? The complaint concerns Mrs. Kidd's actions at the city council meeting. She adjourned the meeting at the 2-hour, 1 minute and 25-second mark. There were 7 speakers to go. She appealed to the folks, and I didn't write that time down, which I will do. There were 2 comments made, which I have already written down. One comment was, use your microphone. That there was a slight lull. Then the next comment was, you can't give insults, you can only take them. At which time Mrs. Kidd left the podium and the video. Now our decision is, sit and watch the rest of these folks speak, or are the relevant parts of the video for us concluded? I'm good both ways. If we're examining the issue of Mrs. Kidd's actions at the city council meeting, I don't know if it benefits anyone to watch a video in which he is not present. But if you feel, the two of you feel, no, let's plow through it, I'll sit here and we'll plow through it. You be my guest. Thinking out loud, watching the rest of the speakers, do they give us anything to consider in regards to Mrs. Kidd's actions? We're to evaluate by the complaint from Mrs. Smith. We've read it dozens of times. What did Mrs. Kidd do during the meeting? I don't know if watching 35 to 45 minutes of speakers talking about a certain subject is relevant, beneficial. Mrs. Rutten?
Miss Smith filed the complaint and made the allegations. So I'm looking at her allegations and her complaint, and I'm feeling that these speakers that we have left would not be relevant to her allegations or to her complaint.
Because the allegations and complaint directly pertain to the actions of Mrs. Kidd at the meeting. If she's no longer there, there's nothing to examine.
correct.
That's okay, I can live with that. Judge Minor?
I've reviewed the complaint and the so-called addendum to the complaint, and I agree. And I think we don't have to go on.
May I make one suggestion? I would love very much to watch the last 2 minutes again with the three of us right here. Just when everything comes to a conclusion, I have no problem backing it up a minute or two, the three of us, and making sure that as this comes to an end, the three of us have seen it enough that we are 100% comfortable how it all transpired. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
It's fine.
It's okay? All right, here we go. We'll come back just a minute or two, and our video viewing will come to a close, and then the three of us will discuss our next plan of action. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, remind all of you, we're making no decisions today whatsoever. We do no deliberation today whatsoever. We definitely will have at least one more meeting where this will hopefully come to a conclusion. Today was fact-finding only. Watch the video with you present. I hope all of you heard that we went through it rather meticulously. We tried to document the time as accurately as possible. We're very appreciative of City Clerk Jennifer's efforts to get us a very clear video. I think all of you have seen down the bottom the timestamp, and I think I've tried to repeat the timestamp to all of you each and every time. We've identified the speakers as well as we could. We've given each speaker the benefit of the doubt, an extra couple of seconds, here and there. I hope all of you are comfortable that we've given the video an open, fair viewing. We are going to take the last look again at the last minute or two, just with the three of us, which is what it's all about. The last three of us are comfortable with how this meeting on February 2nd ended. And we'll go back, and it started at 1:58, so we'll go back maybe like 1:59 or so, where the gentleman was speaking, and we'll get 2 minutes if we get there. Here we go. And we're off.
Who are permanently, half for all, half against. I do not expect this council to be dissolved, nor do I expect it to fall. I do, however, expect the seats being divided. We, the people, will be here meeting after meeting to remind you that no means no. My observation of the behavior of the past few meetings remind me of the four horsemen outlined against the pristine beauty of the snow-capped Olympics. The four horsemen ride again with ignorance and stubborn demeanor. In dramatic lore, they were known as famine, pestilence, death, and destruction. But they are merely aliases, for their real names may as well be Downey, College,
Ladies and gentlemen, personal info is inappropriate. All right. This meeting is adjourned.
That person had the right to speak to that issue, and to cut him off is denied his First Amendment rights to him, and to cut me off is denied my First Amendment rights.
If you can control yourself and calm down, this is inappropriate. This is uncivil, and we can do better than this. We can all do better than this. Would like to hear the public comments, but we were not here
you have your microphone?
Inappropriate behavior.
Yeah,
Can't give it, so you can only take it.
There's no motion. There's no motion.
He's on the docket.
I'll keep speaking if they don't want to listen to me. Go ahead. A number of years ago, our chamber's not there, I'm the commissioner. And we had a policy of letting people speak as long as they wanted to. And we thought that their time was more important than our time. And we tried to listen to what they say rather than to cut them off at the first opportunity. Now, there were some authorities, right? We had a lady here who was a well-respected county commissioner who was operating very well with his comment, and she was very good to shut off. That's uncalled for.
3 minutes.
And
Everybody got 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That ends our viewing this morning. To keep you up to date, Judge Minor, Mrs. Rutten, and I will now take a few minutes to look at our calendars, consult with city staff about when the next time is we can meet. And I think you'll find that since it will be open to everyone, Ms. Jennifer, the city clerk, will notify everyone in the proper channels about when our next meeting will be. So all we're going to do right now is take a look at our calendars, consult with city staff to find a time when we are all available. Thanks for being here this morning, and have a very, very nice day.